In this video, we're going to hear from the certification body on what value you can get from your certification. Often we look at certification from our point of view. In this series of videos, we look at certification from the certification body's point of view. You'll be hearing from Leon Michailidis from Equal Assurance, who's going to talk to you about the value you can get out of certification. I'm Pen from Mango, and we at Mango have a mission to get more people involved and participating in your compliance to make you successful.
One of the hot topics at the moment is ad nauseum, and I'm sure you've heard it all, is this process approach to certification. And you would be familiar with Annex SL, which became Annex L, which was really the management system structure, high-level structure that was established by ISO to really drive all management system standards. And all of those really are trying to drive this process-based approach. One of the areas I find ironic is I'm an engineer by trade, and so I don't see anything else but process. I struggle to see what the problem is. When this first came out, I felt it was like being told how to breathe. I just didn't understand why no one understood it. But what I've learned now is that you've got process drivers here, and you've got requirements drivers. So when we get audited by JAS-ANZ or by an accredited body, we need to show that, did you check competence and did you check design? Well, workplaces don't always have those, buckets of, competency goes here and design processes go here. All we do is we do work and we transform inputs into outputs, and there's certain flows in which that occurs. And so it's very much a challenging matrix to match process with requirements. But certainly JAS-ANZ is driving it. This is an expectation, and their witness assessments now are starting to look more at making sure that auditors do actually follow processes. So, a process to put someone on board. Okay, well, what's the start? Okay, well, they turn up, they have maybe pre-employment and medical, and then they provide their tickets, and they do an induction, and they get the payroll and super sorted out, and so you might follow that through. And as you're going through, you go, okay, well, I've got to be mindful that there's a requirement for awareness, there's a requirement for internal communications, there's a requirement for competency and training. And as I'm flowing through that process, I'm checking the requirements. So that's how the auditing is meant to be done nowadays. Now that requires skill. Skill in being able to firstly understand process, and second be able to map that process to requirements. But it is an expectation that's coming up with JAS-ANZ. And it is hard for requirement-based auditors. It is hard for the tick and flick auditor that turns up and says, show me your policy, show me your management review, show me your internal audit. And we're all guilty of that. I'm not taking the moral high ground and saying, we're holier than thou. But it is a challenge when you have requirements-based auditors that like I've seen this, I can tick this box, I can report that packet, and I can go home. Auditor competence, I suppose, is another area that's a hot topic, and certainly all the management standards that govern us are dealing with competence for quality, competence for safety, competence for environmental, competence for food safety. The list goes on. There's a stronger focus on the technical knowledge, so not just food safety, for example, not just knowing the processes, but knowing about biological impacts and pathogens and those sorts of things, but actually having technical knowledge in those sectors. The other area that's I don't think is increasing quickly enough, but I think is starting to be an expectation for the top end of the client is the business acumen. I guess if you look at the traditional sort of auditor life, I guess, and this is really cynical and really dumbing it down, but you might have had sort of a welding inspector that thought, this QA stuff's not bad, I might go get some pieces of paper, and then got a job in the QA department, and then that became an auditor, and then what's the safety stuff, I might go do that, and sort of 10 years later you got this person that's sort of become this auditor that really, how much business experience have they had? Can they read a balance sheet? Can they stand up in front of 200 people and talk about, leadership and so on? Because that's really what the market is at the top end of town is beginning to expect.
If you enjoyed this video, why don't you click on the link and look at some of the other videos from industry experts.